Hello, Search here from the backyard driving range. I have a question that came into customer service, and it says, "Hi Serge, I can easily use your swing with less back pain than the rotational swing with short irons, but when I get to my 5 hybrid and longer length clubs, I often hit the ground behind the ball. Suggestions, please." And that's from David Bories. All right, David. All right, there's a couple of issues we can look at here. First one could be the ball position is maybe too far forward, might even be too far back, and you're still not getting to the ball too steep because it's far back. I think let's start off though with talking about your swing, and then lead into a few other issues. Number one, if you're making too big a turn in your backswing, which means you're turning your shoulders at least 90 degrees or more, you're definitely getting into the sacred burial ground because in the Surge swing we only turn to the toe line, which is a limited turn and straight up. But as you keep turning, your arms start to get pulled downward, and in many cases the club gets way behind you. So now if you were to swing straight down from there, you're coming so far from the inside, you might even have a difficulty of hitting the ball unless you do what? You have to come over the top, and coming over the top can make the club go down. Come down in very steep, and you can have trouble finding the ball. Especially if the ball, even if the ball were too far back, you could still come down too steep and hit it behind the ball. Or if the ball was too far forward, and even though you now feel like you gotta, as you're turning, you're moving slightly ahead, there's a good chance the ball could still be forward and hitting behind the ball, as well as you might even be hitting some tops now and then. And it's obvious that this problem would get worse as the clubs get longer, because the farther you get away from the ball and a longer club, if you're swinging, say, to parallel and or turning too much, the club goes longer here, which means when the club gets up here and it tends to flop down, it's going to flip the other way and go even outside more and more steep coming down from the outside. All right? So those could definitely cause the issue with your hitting the ground behind the ball. Another issue could be that you could be, stance might be too wide. Conversely, as you start to turn, your right leg starts straightening, which is pushing your weight forward into a reverse tilt. And in most cases, if you reverse tilted to swing back at the ball, you start coming backwards and your weight starts going to the back foot. And if you're hitting it off the back foot, that can hit it anywhere behind it, to it, on top of it, and every now and then you might get it just right where you throw the club at the ball and hit it right, and you hit it relatively solid and maybe even straight. But the point is that anything to do with the body moving too much is going to cause terrible inconsistencies in ball striking, and therefore in how well you hit the ball and what direction you hit it. So we want to get in a position where we're standing up slightly behind the ball, preloaded heavy right, and we stay in a position and we look, and so we can swing to the club and be hitting the ball from with the head slightly behind the ball at impact, where we're coming into the ball and the arms straighten out. Now, another big reason could be the fact that I believe in a position called nose at the ball, NAB, nose at the ball. Many golfers think that the way to correctly look at the ball is to cock your head to the right or backwards, behind the ball. And so if you're over here, in many cases, if you try to look at the ball, you're actually looking and your nose might be in the way. So if you have your nose back here, your vision is really back here, the ball's up there, and if you just return and return the club to the field of focus, your eyes work with two eyes turning inward towards the central point out from your nose. And so if my ball is here but my nose is pointing back here, and I'm kind of seeing the ball out there in my periphery, the tendency sometimes is to return the club to the point at the end of your focus, which is here, which is out from where your nose is pointing, not at the ball in this case. So all you need to do is turn your head and get your nose pointed at the ball. You can check that by just closing your eyes, opening it up, and where's the ball? It should be in the center of your stance, in the center of your vision, excuse me. So if you're over here and you close your eyes and open them up, I'm looking right there right now. I just have to keep turning my head until I can see it in the middle, close my eyes, open it up, and there's the ball right in the middle of my vision. Got a better chance of hitting what's in the center of your vision. I don't think I've ever seen anybody hammering a nail where they're still holding their finger and they got their head cocked like this. No, they're looking straight at that nail. Well, here's your hammer, there's your nail. You got to be looking straight at it. That could be a very, very, very big issue. And so with all of these things, we're talking about vision, we're talking about ball position, we're talking about body positions. It could be any number of those. All right, and normally, as you know, I say the setup determines the motion, and the vision part is part of your setup. Where your weight distribution is the start, is the setup, and then the issue about the leg straightening to a reverse tilt to a forward and then a reverse weight shift, that's part of your swing. But again, in many cases, it's set up by the setup, in that your weight was probably in the wrong place to begin with. Very likely preloaded heavy left, and you go more left, and then you have to come back to try to hit the ball. And there's other ones too. You could lose your weight back here and then shift too far forward. I mean, it's a total number of things that could be the issue. But I'd say the easiest one to start off would be is just check your vision, especially if you know you cock your head. I mean, Jack Nicklaus did that, but he forgot to tell everybody that he was left eye dominant. If you're right eye dominant and cock your head, that definitely doesn't work, and I really think it doesn't work even if you're left eye dominant. Your vision straight on the ball in the center of your vision, your focal field. Okay, so start with that, and then check out your swing with the other ones. You can check your swing out, looking, putting the sun at your back and watching your shadow, and see where you're set up, and how if your head's moving. The head should start relative in its place, stay put, and as you turn, your spine stays positioned and it doesn't change, because if your spine's starting to go forward or backwards, the ball's not moving, you're in trouble. All right, so start with the vision and see if you can't correct this problem of that you have, and so you can start hitting it consistently, more solid straight, and shooting those lower scores. That's it for the search for today, and I'll be talking to you all again soon.